old space station floated in the dark like a dead ghost. Its metal body was torn and silent, orbiting a red, dying star. No signal, no life signs, nothing but shadows. Captain Jace Thorne stood inside his small ship, staring at the broken station through the glass. His eyes were tired, his beard rough, and his mind heavy. He was not here by choice. The Dominion had sent him to recover valuable data. But Jace knew what that really meant. They wanted someone expendable. He checked his blaster, fixed the mask on his face, and opened the airlock. The door slid open with a hiss and cold air rushed in. The smell hit him, a mix of burnt metal, oil, and something else. Something alive. He stepped in slowly. His boots echoed across the empty hallway. The walls were scratched and the lights flickered weakly. He whispered to himself, "Just get the data and get out." As he moved deeper, he saw writing on the wall. Alien symbols, glowing faintly blue. They looked like warnings. The deeper he went, the more uneasy he felt. The silence wasn't normal. It was watching silence, then a sound. A faint broken whisper echoed through the metal corridors. "I took it off. Please." Jace froze. The voice was soft, trembling, female, but not human. His hand went to his blaster instantly. He turned slowly, flashlight cutting through the dark. "Hello?" he called out. "Is someone there?" No answer. Just the hum of failing lights. He followed the sound to a sealed lab door. The metal was cracked, half-burned. A Dominion logo marked its center. Jace pressed the access panel, dead. He forced it open with his toolkit. The door screeched, sparks flew, and inside, there she was. A young alien woman sat on the floor, hugging her knees. Her skin shimmered silver. Her long hair floated slightly as if touched by static. 2 broken cuffs lay beside her, glowing faint red, still smoking. She looked up at him with glowing blue eyes, filled with fear and exhaustion. Her voice was barely a whisper. "I took it off here, please. Don't let them find me." Jace's heart pounded. She wasn't just anyone. She had the mark, a red symbol glowing faintly on her neck. The mark of the Dominion's experiments. He raised his blaster. "Who are you?" She didn't move. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but her voice stayed calm. "I'm not your enemy. Please, they'll come back. They'll kill you too." He hesitated. Every soldier knew the rule. Never trust a Dominion experiment. But something in her eyes stopped him. Fear. Pain. Humanity. Before he could answer, a loud alarm screamed through the station. Self-destruct initiated. A red timer flashed on the wall. 4:59, 4:58. Jace swore under his breath. He looked at the woman. "If this is a trick, you'll regret it." She shook her head. "No trick, please, help me." He ran to her, pulled her to her feet. Her body was weak, trembling. "Can you walk?" he asked. She nodded. The wall started to shake. Steam burst from broken pipes. They ran. Fast. Through dark corridors, past broken machines as fire began to spread behind them. At one corner, the woman stopped and looked back. "They'll follow me," she said. "They always do." "Then we'll make sure they don't," Jay said, gripping her hand and dragging her toward the exit. They reached his ship just as the explosions tore through the station. The blast hit the hull. The ship spun in space, alarms blaring. Jay strapped her in and shouted, "Hold on." The ship roared forward, escaping the fireball. Through the rear window, the station exploded, pieces of metal scattering into the red void. For a long moment, there was only silence. Then the woman whispered softly, "You shouldn't have saved me." Jace turned to her, eyes narrowed. "Then why do I feel like I just made the biggest mistake of my life?" The explosion's echo still rolled through space when Jace slammed the controls of his ship. Flames flashed behind them, painting the stars red. His hands moved fast, switching levers, rerouting power, forcing the engines to breathe again. But the ship shook violently, warning lights flashing across the cockpit like angry eyes. The alien woman, Lyra, sat strapped beside him, gasping for air. Her silver skin shimmered in the emergency lights. She looked too fragile to survive. Yet her glowing eyes held something strong. Jace could feel it. A kind of silent fire. "Hang on," he said through clenched teeth. The thrusters screamed as they broke through the blast wave. The old ship moaned like a dying beast, but it held together. Outside, the remains of the station drifted, twisted metal, broken glass, and the ghosts of things better left unseen. Jace looked at her. "Who are you?" Lyra didn't answer at first. Her eyes darted toward the radar. Someone who shouldn't exist, she whispered. If they find me. You die too, Jace frowned. Then let's make sure they don't. He activated the cloaking shield, hoping it still worked after months of neglect. The engine noise softened and the stars swallowed them in silence. Lyra's breathing steadied, but her hands shook, clutching her arms as if she was cold. Jace tossed her a blanket. You're freezing, she stared at it, confused. Why are you helping me? He shrugged. Because I hate the Dominion more than I like following their rules. That made her look up. A small flicker of surprise crossed her face, maybe even hope. But before she could say anything, the radar screamed. 3 red dots appeared behind them, fast, deadly, closing in. Jace cursed. Dominion interceptors. They must have tracked your signal. Lyra shook her head, panic in her voice. No, I destroyed it. I took it off. She grabbed her neck, the mark still faintly glowing under her skin. Jace scanned it with his wristpad. His eyes widened. It's not just a tracker. It's alive. Alive? It's fused to your nervous system. Even removed, it broadcasts a biosignal. She looked terrified. Then I'm killing you by being here. Jace gave a grim smile. Not yet. He flipped a switch. The ship's rear turrets came to life. He didn't have time for fear. Hold on tight. The interceptors fired first, bright streaks of plasma slicing through the void. Jace rolled the ship hard, dodging between asteroids. The whole cockpit shook, panels bursting with sparks. Lyra screamed as gravity pulled her sideways. Jace shouted over the noise, You said they'll kill you. Why? Her answer came through tears and static. Because I'm what they made, and what they lost control of. He didn't have time to ask more. He fired back. Twin bolts of energy lit the darkness, striking one interceptor. It exploded in a flash. The second one looped around, firing again. The ship's left wing caught fire. Alarms blared. Jace slammed his fist on the control pad. Come on, girl, not now, he shouted to the ship. Lyra reached out, her hands trembling but suddenly glowing. The flames on the wing flickered, then vanished. The metal cooled. Jace stared at her in shock. What did you just do? Her voice was soft. Something they never wanted me to remember. For a few seconds, silence filled the cockpit again, broken only by the hum of engines. Then the last Dominion ship pulled back, vanishing into the black. Lyra leaned back, breathing hard. They'll send more, Jace nodded. Then we run faster. He checked the star map. A small moon shimmered in the distance, unmarked, forgotten, perfect for hiding. As they turned toward it, Lyra looked out the window, whispering, You don't understand. There's nowhere I can hide. They can feel me, like I'm part of them. Jace glanced at her reflection in the glass, those glowing eyes, that strange sadness. Then maybe it's time someone made them afraid for a change. The engines roared again and the ship vanished into the dark. The moon they landed on was silent and gray, its surface cracked like dry skin. No life, no light, just endless dust and distant lightning crawling across the horizon. Jace brought the ship down behind a ridge, hiding it under shadow. The engines cooled with a soft hiss. For the first time since the explosion, there was stillness. No alarms, no chasing ships, only the sound of their breathing. Lyra sat in the corner of the cockpit, wrapped in the same blanket. Her silver skin shimmered faintly under the flickering console light. She looked human in the dark, almost too human. Jace leaned against the control panel, watching her quietly. That thing in your neck, he said, breaking the silence. What exactly is it? Lyra touched the faint red mark just below her collarbone. It pulsed like a heartbeat. It's called a Dominion mark, she said softly. They put it in the ones they build, to remind us what we are. Jace frowned. Build? I wasn't born, she said. I was made. Her words hung in the air like cold smoke. He'd heard stories about the Dominion's secret projects, about the synthetic hybrids they created to obey, fight, and die. But seeing one, feeling her fear, that was different. What happens if they find you? He asked. Lyra looked down. They don't take you back. They erase you, piece by piece. For a moment, neither spoke. The hum of the ship felt too loud. Jace turned to the med scanner and activated it. The small beam of blue light swept across Lyra's neck. The screen filled with alien symbols and unreadable data. Then it beeped red. The mark wasn't just under her skin. It was rooted into her nerves, branching through her spine like living wires. Jace cursed under his breath. This thing's wired to your brain. Lyra nodded slowly. It's not just a tracker. It's control. They can see through me, hear through me. He stared at her, stunned. You mean they can hear us right now? She shook her head. Not anymore. The station explosion broke most of the link, but the mark still tries to repair itself. He leaned closer to the scanner. Repair itself? You mean it's alive? Her voice cracked slightly. They called it biometal. It grows when you're scared. It learns when you fight. Jace felt a chill crawl down his spine. That's not metal. That's slavery. Lyra's eyes met his. That's why I took it off. But even when I did, it screamed. Like it wanted to go back. He didn't know what to say. She looked at him like she expected him to walk away, to leave her there and run. But Jace had seen too many victims of the Dominion's cruelty. He wasn't going to add one more. He reached for his pack and took out a small blade, its edge glowing blue. Maybe I can cut it out. Lyra's voice was barely a whisper. If you do, I'll die. The word stopped him cold. She wasn't exaggerating. The scanner confirmed it. If the mark was removed, her neural system would collapse. He sighed, rubbing his face. Then we need another way. Outside, thunder rumbled. The sky turned purple as static lightning flickered across the moon's surface. Lyra looked out the window, her reflection trembling in the glass. You don't understand, she said. They don't stop. When one ship fails, 10 more come. They'll burn this moon to find me. Jace crossed his arms. Then we don't let them find us. We find them first. Her head turned sharply. You can't fight the Dominion. He smiled faintly, eyes dark but certain. I already did. The day I saved you, Lyra stared at him, half afraid, half amazed. For the first time, the faint blue light in her eyes softened, and somewhere deep inside the Dominion's vast network, the broken signal from her mark flickered back to life, a whisper across the stars. The night sky above the moon was alive with storms. Flashes of purple lightning rolled across the horizon, painting the silver surface in ghostly light. Inside the ship, Captain Jace Thorne worked in silence, repairing what he could with tired hands and a mind full of noise. Behind him, Lyra sat near the window, her reflection faint in the glass. The red mark on her neck glowed weakly, like a wound that refused to die. How long do we stay here? She asked quietly. Jace didn't look up. Long enough to fix the engines. Short enough to stay alive, she smiled faintly. That's not much of a plan. It's the only one that's ever worked, he muttered. For a while, the only sounds were tools clinking and wires sparking. But then the radar gave a low, sharp beep. Jace froze. He turned to the screen. A faint red blip pulsed on the edge of the radar. Incoming. No. Lyra whispered. They found me again. Jace rushed to the console, scanning the signal. It was faint, broken, but getting stronger. He slammed his fist on the table. They must have locked onto your mark. Lyra's voice trembled. I can try to suppress it. Just give me a moment. The radar beeped louder. 2 Dominion cruisers now, then 3, then 5. The screen flashed crimson. Incoming fleet detected. Jace grabbed the pilot's seat. Forget suppressing it. We're leaving. The engines roared to life, shaking the ship violently. Dust blasted off the moon's surface as they rose into the dark. Lyra clutched the edge of the seat. You can't fight that many. I'm not planning to fight, he said, flipping switches. I'm planning to survive. The ship shot upward, breaking through the storm clouds. Behind them, 5 massive Dominion ships appeared from hyperspace, sharp, black, and cold as death. Their red searchlights cut across the moon like spears. Jace dived the ship sideways, skimming the moon's surface, dodging laser fire that exploded dust into space. Lyra shouted, They're closing in. I see them. He snapped, twisting the controls. The ship spun through a canyon of rock, the engines screaming in protest. One Dominion fighter followed them too close. A mistake. Jace pulled the lever hard and shot upward. The fighter hit the canyon wall, exploding in fire. Got one, Jace muttered. Lyra looked at him with wide eyes. You're insane, he gave a sharp grin. You're welcome, but the smile didn't last. The radar still showed 4 ships in pursuit, faster than before. Lyra's hands glowed faintly blue as she closed her eyes. I can help. I can make them lose our trail? Jace glanced at her. How? By linking with the signal. Turning it back on them. That could kill you. She opened her eyes. Then it's fair. Before he could stop her, she placed her hand on the console. The mark on her neck flared bright red, flooding the cockpit with light. Symbols flickered across the dashboard, Dominion code changing, mutating. Jace's ship stuttered, lights flickering. "Lyra, what are you—" "Trust me," she said through clenched teeth. "Just fly." Outside, the chasing ship suddenly slowed. Their systems glitched. Weapons powered down, their radar feeds filled with static. Lyra screamed, her body trembling. Sparks danced on her fingertips. Jace grabbed her shoulders. "That's enough, stop." The glow vanished. She collapsed, breathing hard, skin dim and pale. The radar cleared. No pursuit. The Dominion ships hung frozen in space, drifting like statues. Jace exhaled shakily. "You did it." Lyra opened her eyes weakly. "They'll fix it soon. We need to go." He nodded, guiding the ship toward deep space. Stars stretched around them as they entered hyperspeed, a tunnel of blue light. After a moment, Jace said quietly, "You could have died." She gave a tired smile. "You would have done the same." He looked at her. Really looked, not as a soldier, not as an alien, but as someone alive, fighting to be free. And somewhere behind them on the frozen Dominion ships, a silent message blinked across every screen. Subject 47, link corrupted, initiate purge. The hunt wasn't over. It had just evolved. The ship glided through hyperspace, or a blur of blue light outside and silence inside. Captain Jace Thorne sat in the pilot seat, his fingers tight on the controls. The hum of the engine sounded almost like a heartbeat, steady but strained. He hadn't slept in 2 days. He couldn't, not after what he'd just seen. Behind him, Lyra lay on the medbed. Her skin had turned pale silver. Her eyes closed, the faint red mark on her neck dim but still pulsing. Jace stared at it like it was a ticking bomb, because that's exactly what it was. He whispered to himself, "What the hell are you?" As if hearing him, Lyra stirred. Her voice came out soft and tired. "You shouldn't have saved me again?" Jace turned, forcing a half smile. "You're welcome." She tried to sit up, but pain bent her body. The mark flickered brighter for a moment. He grabbed the med scanner, running it along her neck. The screen flashed red symbols again, faster this time, spreading through her nervous system. Jace frowned. "It's changing. It's growing." Lyra's eyes opened. "Then it's waking up." That word made his stomach twist. "Waking up?" She nodded weakly. "The mark isn't just a tracker. It's a seed, a piece of the Dominion's main core. Every marked subject carries a part of its mind. When we connect, the core learns. It evolves." Jace's pulse quickened. "You mean you're carrying a piece of their AI?" Lyra nodded again. "Worse, it's not just code. It's a living pattern. It rewrites DNA, memories, even emotion. I was one of the first. They wanted to see if a human soul could survive it." He stared at her. "You're saying you're part human?" Her gaze dropped. "Half. My mother was human. My father was Dominion. They called me the bridge between flesh and machine. But I was a failure." Jace leaned closer, his voice low. "You don't look like a failure to me." Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile, the first real one he'd seen. But it vanished as the ship trembled. The scanners beeped again. A strange energy pulse rippled through the air, cold and sharp. Lyra gasped, clutching her head. "No, not again." Jace grabbed her shoulders. "What's happening?" She screamed, her voice echoing through the cabin. "It's the seed. It's trying to connect into everything." The lights flickered. The ship's computer spoke in a distorted voice. "Dominion protocol, active." Jace's blood ran cold. The system had been hacked, from inside. He sprinted to the control panel, slamming emergency shutdown switches. "No, no, no." The AI voice continued. "Subject 47, link initiated. Uploading core memory." Lyra fell to the floor, shaking. Her veins glowed faint blue as data symbols raced beneath her skin. "Stop it," Jace shouted, grabbing her wrist. Her eyes shot open, bright, unnatural, filled with streaming code. For a second, she wasn't Lyra anymore. Her voice changed, deeper, colder. "Human interference detected. Termination sequence ready." Jace didn't hesitate. He yanked the power cable from the ship's AI port, sparks flying. The lights went black. The hum stopped. Silence swallowed the room. Then, a gasp. Lyra's body went limp, her eyes normal again. She looked at him, tears forming. I told you. It's not just inside me. It is me. Jace sank to his knees beside her, breathing hard. Then we'll find a way to break it. She shook her head slowly. You can't break what was never born. But maybe. You can teach it, he frowned. Teach it? Lyra smiled weakly. To be human. Jace stared at her, at this being half alive, half machine, all heart. And for the first time he didn't see a weapon or a threat. He saw someone worth saving. Outside, hyperspace rippled. Unseen by either of them, a Dominion warship appeared at the edge of the star tunnel, scanning the void. On its dark bridge, a mechanical voice whispered, Subject 47 reactivated. Prepare for retrieval. The hunt had begun again. The ship floated in silence between the stars. The hum of hyperspace had faded, replaced by stillness, the kind that felt wrong. Captain Jace Thorne sat at the controls, staring at the faint blinking light on his console. A red indicator pulsed every few seconds, slow, quiet, too quiet. He frowned. That's not an error light, he muttered. Behind him, Lyra sat on the floor, knees pulled close, her eyes distant. The soft glow from her neck had almost disappeared. She looked weaker, fragile, like a candle about to burn out. Jace called out softly, Lyra, what's that signal? She didn't answer. For a long moment, only the hum of the life support filled the air. Then she whispered, You wouldn't understand. Try me. Her voice trembled. It's a recall pulse. The Dominion sends it through subspace when a lost unit must return home. Jace's jaw tightened. A lost unit. You mean you? Lyra nodded slowly. It's not meant to track. It's meant to wake. He stood up, walking closer. Wake what? Lyra lifted her gaze. Her eyes shimmered like glass. The part of me that still belongs to them. The console beeped again, louder this time. The radar flashed. A single red dot appeared far behind them, but closing fast. Jace swore under his breath. They found us again. Lyra covered her ears, wincing in pain. No, Jace. I found them. What? She looked at him with horror in her eyes. It's me. I'm sending it. I'm betraying you. Jace froze. The realization hit like a punch to the chest. The blinking light wasn't a tracker, it was her. The mark on her neck was alive again, feeding coordinates back to the Dominion. Lyra's body trembled. I can't stop it. It's inside me. It's using my thoughts to send data. Jace turned back to the control panel, slamming switches. Then I'll jam it. He opened the power relay, forcing the ship's systems into chaos. Alarms screamed. Lights flickered. Come on, he shouted. Lyra screamed, clutching her chest. You're hurting me. He froze, looking back at her, the cables sparking red light across her face. The ship's system was tied to her pulse. The more he jammed it, the more pain she felt. Jace's voice cracked. They connected you to the ship's network. Everything I do to stop them hurts you. Lyra fell to her knees. Then don't stop them. What? He snapped. You want me to let them take you? Her voice was barely a whisper. If they take me, they stop chasing you. You'll live. Jace walked forward, grabbed her shoulders. That's not living, Lyra, that's surrender. Tears ran down her cheeks. I'm not like you. You fight because you can. I fight because I was made to. I can't win? He looked into her trembling eyes, blue fire trapped in a storm of fear. You're wrong, he said quietly. You already did win. You made a choice. She blinked, confused. What choice? To care, he said. That's something no Dominion creation was built to do. A long silence followed. The radar beeped again, louder, faster. The fleet was minutes away now. Jace turned back to the controls. We're not running this time. Lyra shook her head weakly. They'll destroy you, he smiled faintly. Then let's give them something to remember. She reached out, grabbing his arm. There's another way, she whispered. You can disconnect me from everything. But you'll have to override the core, and when you do, I'll stop existing. Jace's hands froze above the controls. The override key blinked, one press away from ending her life and saving billions. He looked at her. She didn't plead. She didn't cry. She just nodded, brave, ready. For the first time, Jace felt something he hadn't in years. Hope. He lowered his hand slowly. No, he said. Not this way. If the Dominion wants you back, they'll have to come through me. Outside, the stars began to warp. The Dominion fleet appeared, vast and dark, a wall of red light stretching across the void. Lyra whispered, tears shining like silver drops. Then this is where it ends. Jace's voice hardened. No, Lyra, this is where we fight back. He slammed the engine controls forward. The ship roared to life, straight toward the enemy. The Dominion fleet filled the stars. Black ships lined in red light, spreading like a metal storm. Captain Jace Thorne's ship looked like dust in front of them, a single spark in an ocean of fire. Inside the cockpit, alarms blared. Systems overheated. Shields flickered and died. Lyra sat strapped in the co-pilot seat, shaking, her glowing veins pulsing faster with every second. They've locked on, she whispered. Good, Jace said. Let them. His fingers flew across the console, rerouting power. Every display flashed core override ready in red. Lyra looked at him, fear in her eyes. Jace, what are you doing? He didn't answer. His face was calm, too calm. The kind of calm that comes right before someone makes a choice they can't take back. Outside, the Dominion's voice filled the comms, cold and mechanical. Subject 47, surrender. The human will be eliminated. You will be restored. Lyra shook her head violently. No, I won't go back. The voice continued, emotionless. Compliance will end his suffering. Jace shut the comms off. Enough talking. He turned toward her. You said the seed inside you links to the Dominion core, right? Lyra nodded slowly. Yes, it's part of them. Why? Then maybe, he said, we can make it part of us instead. She frowned. What do you mean? He pointed at the glowing core override switch. If I merge the ship's reactor with your seed, it'll overload. The blast will destroy the fleet's link to the main network. You'll be free. They'll lose control. Lyra's voice broke. You'll die. Jace smiled faintly. I was dead the moment I saved you. Before she could protest, he reached for the switch. But Lyra caught his hand, her fingers trembling. Jace, please. You don't have to do this, he met her gaze. Yes, I do. You deserve to live without chains. You deserve to be more than what they built. Her eyes shimmered. And what about you? He chuckled softly. I'll finally get to stop running. A flash of light outside, the Dominion ships fired. The first blast hit. The ship spun violently. Lyra screamed as sparks burst around them. Hold on, Jace shouted, gripping the controls. We're not done yet. He hit the thrusters, pushing the ship straight toward the center of the fleet. Alarms wailed. Metal groaned. Every system reached critical. Lyra tried to stop him, tears falling freely. You'll burn with them. Jace smiled through the chaos. Better to burn free than live as their machine. He pressed the core override. The ship's heart screamed, light exploding through every panel. Energy wrapped around Lyra like blue fire. She reached out to him one last time. Jace, live free, Lyra, he whispered. That's all I ever wanted for you. And then the world went white. The Dominion fleet vanished in a single silent wave of light. The explosion rippled across the void, erasing ships, signals, everything. When the light faded, only one escape pod drifted among the ruins, small, quiet, alone. Inside, Lyra awoke. Her skin no longer shimmered like metal. The mark on her neck was gone. For the first time in her life, she felt human. Beside her, a hologram flickered to life. Jace's final message. If you're seeing this, it worked. Don't hide anymore, Lyra. Don't run. You're free now. Make the stars yours. The hologram faded. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. She looked out at the glowing remains of the Dominion fleet. He wasn't like them, she whispered. He was human. She took the controls of the pod, turning it toward the distant horizon, toward a small blue planet glowing in the dark. As the engines hummed to life, she whispered his name one last time. For you, Jace. I'll live. The pod disappeared into the stars, the beginning of a new legend written not by gods or machines, but by a man who proved that humanity was never about strength. It was about choice.